Welcome back to Become a Calm Mama. I'm your host. I'm Darlene Childress. I'm a life and parenting coach. And this episode is part 6 of our series on how to heal. And I've been walking you through sort of this hierarchy of healing, going through different phases of healing and what we need to build up in order to take radical action, in order to actually improve our lives, change our lives, create the life that we want. It is important to start with those foundational principles of radical self-love, radical self-trust, radical honesty, radical listening, and radical acceptance. So once we kind of have this foundation built up, we're ready to take action, radical action, big steps or little steps, to be honest with you. Sometimes a lot of our big actions in life start with really small changes. And I'm going to walk you through today how to figure out what area of your life to tackle and how to take that big action, what you ought to be doing, how to figure out what you ought to be doing, and then also what are some of the obstacles that will come up along the way and how to overcome those obstacles. The first thing I want to do is I wanted to start with this quote that I just read this past week from Young Pueblo's book. And it says, "Healing yourself with love is a long-term process." I just wanted to start by reminding you that what you're doing with radical self-love is radical. It is huge. It's transformative. If that's the only thing you do for the rest of your life is learn to fall deeper and deeper in love with yourself, find deeper and deeper levels of trust, become a really good friend to yourself by being really honest and listening, accepting yourself exactly as you are and not thinking that you're broken, I promise that that is the pathway of healing. And the more you practice radical self-love, the easier it will be for you to take this radical action. So when I talk about radical action today, the last thing I want is for you to get overwhelmed and think that here Darlene is giving me a giant checklist and to-do list of all the things that I now need to do. And that's not what this is about. This is about taking aligned action towards the things that you want to create more of in your life. More peace, more joy, more meaning, more connection, more love. Any of those qualities that you're chasing. So radical action, how I define it, is about making a commitment to changing an area of your life where you are not satisfied. So you're making a commitment. That's the first part of action, committing to something, and then taking steps to changing that area of your life. When I think about areas of your life, I think about these 3 relationships that we have. We have a relationship to ourself. So that means like our mental health, anxiety, depression, negative self-talk, our relationship to how we contribute in the world, and our relationship to how we feel in the world. So it's really like this relationship that we have internally. So if you're feeling anxious, depressed, if you're feeling directionless, if you're feeling kind of trapped and you don't have contentment, then this is something that you might want to work on, is how you relate to yourself, how you think and feel, your own mental well-being. So those commitments will look like, I will do things that bring me joy. I will speak kindly to myself. I will practice mindset exercises. You decide, I want to experience more meaning and purpose in my life, or I'm committed to my own peace and my own contentment, and I'm willing to take action to change the things in my life that aren't working. So when we look at how we feel inside of ourselves and how we think and feel and talk to ourselves, like that relationship internally, if you want to change that relationship, you're going to need to take radical action. So committing to, I'm going to improve my mental health, or I'm going to improve my feeling of discontentment. I want to chase contentment. Looking at, my life feels meaningless, directionless. I feel stuck. So then you can say, I am committed to figuring out what brings me joy and getting more of those joyful things in my life. So I want you to look at that area of dissatisfaction and then make a commitment to yourself of what it is that you want. I want more joy. I will do things that bring me joy. I want to feel purpose. I will do things that give me purpose. I want to feel more content. I will chase the things that bring me contentment. I will create more peace in my life. I will prioritize joy. So the action that you're going to take is going to come from the area of your life that's not really satisfying. So we have that relationship to ourselves. You might have relationship to others. Maybe your marriage isn't working, or the way you're parenting your kids isn't working. Maybe you have some toxic friendships or some family conflicts with your in-laws or your family of origin. If you want to take a look at how you relate to others and your relationships to others and start working on that. So you decide, I want to have a happy marriage and I want to figure out how to create that. I want to be a more calm parent. So I want to figure out how to create that. I'm committed to becoming a calm mama. I'm committed to creating friendships that are meaningful and are lasting and bring me joy. I'm committed to setting boundaries with my in-laws. I'm committed to improving my relationship with my mother. You might not know the action steps yet. That's okay. We don't have to figure out every single piece of action yet. We just need to know what we're chasing. What's the area of your life that's not satisfying? And what do you want to commit to creating? So if you notice you're unhappy, I'm going to commit to joy. If you notice you don't have peace, I'm going to commit to peace. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, I'm going to work on my boundaries. So you set like a small actionable commitment, like a goal, and then that's where the action starts to get informed by where you're going. We can't create the life that you want unless we know what it is you want, right? You have to define it a bit. So we have this relationship to ourselves, our internal relationship with us, right? So that's something you can work on. You have your relationship to others and those relationships. And then we also have this relationship to the outside world. So that's like time, how we relate to time, how we manage time, how we prioritize time, how we relate to our space, like our daily environment. If your home is driving you crazy, your environment is driving you crazy, it's making you unhappy, then let's work on that. Let's take radical action rooted in love to make your home work and function better, and take some big swings to make that right. Maybe you don't have a lot of energy in your body, or you aren't taking care of your body. You're ignoring your body. You're not going to the doctor. You're not eating well. You're not moving your body. And you want to commit to changing the relationship you have with your body. That's available to you. Also, money. Money's a huge issue. We don't think about it a lot. We think about it a lot, but we don't talk about it a lot. So you get to decide, wow, I'm really stressed about money all the time. I feel really overwhelmed. I feel like we don't have enough. I never have enough peace around it. And even if you have plenty, you're like, well, where's it going? I'm so frustrated. If you feel that scarcity feeling or that overwhelm, then you get to decide that you're going to commit to managing your money in a way that is healthy. Looking at these commitments, I will create more time for rest in my life. If you're feeling overworked, burned out, like there's no time, you're not prioritizing yourself, you're not prioritizing your well-being, then your symptom is overwhelm, right? Or overworked, feeling burned out. Great, that's a symptom. Let's now find out what the root cause is and take action to change that. If your environment is really cluttered and it's stressful and your space is uninspiring, okay, that's the symptom, that's the problem. Now let's go and do some action towards it. So you're looking for the problem areas in your life, rooted, remember, in love and trust and belief that you can handle anything and that everything is fine. There's no problem right now, in terms of you're not in danger. You can have things, it's kind of like a dichotomy. You can have things in your life that you are unhappy about, and also your life can be perfectly fine. That's this tension between content and discontent, right? I don't think of it like that. I'm truly, deeply feel contentment in my life. And I know there's more available to me, more contentment available. I'm really at peace in my life, and I know there's more peace available to me. I have unbound joy in my life, and I know there's more joy available to me. So I get to have gratitude and rooted in the things that I'm appreciative of, and acknowledge and accept things are exactly as they are meant to be, and it's okay, and I'm safe, and I'm loved, and I'm worthy, and I'm good. And I want more of that. So when we take these radical actions, we look at the areas of our life where we see hey, you know what? This could be improved a little bit. I'm fine now. I'm satisfied now in general, but I'd like to improve. This is a little bit of fake it till you make it, kind of, because you're not going to feel Like if there's a lot of areas of your life that are really frustrating and overwhelming and hard, are you gaslighting yourself by saying everything is good? Kinda, but the truth is everything is pretty good. Like you have a home, you have your children, you have warm clothing, you probably have had a tasty thing to eat or drink recently. In the modern world, unless we're in a war zone or something, most things are okay. We are relatively safe right now. And that's what radical acceptance is, acknowledging our circumstance as it is right now. I think about like this morning, I was walking the dog and this lady, her dog jumped out at us. And at first I didn't think it was on the leash. And I got really scared that it was going to come and like attack my dog. And I was like, ah, and I screamed. And then she got the leash and she held it. And she's like, oh yeah, he's safe. He's leashed up. And then my nervous system reset. So for a split second, I may have perceived myself as being unsafe. And then immediately I was. There are moments, of course, when things are dangerous. Like if you are in the act of a car accident, things are dangerous. But then as soon as the accident is over, we are safe again. Like it's hard to believe, but we're not actually in danger until we're in danger. And then the danger passes and then we're not in danger anymore. But our mindset, our nervous system is always scanning for danger. And so it's make it hard for us to truly believe I'm okay right now in this moment. And then when I'm not okay, I'll deal with it and then I'll be okay again. That's crazy radical acceptance and crazy radical trust. And when you are in that space, taking action, the next right action, isn't going to come from a place of scarcity, insecurity, fear, overwhelm. I want you to take these actions from a deep place of confidence and belief that you can get what you want because you already have it in some part of your life. So we kind of have to look for evidence that things are okay in order to believe that we can get more of those things. More okayness, the belief that it's possible, comes from looking at what's already true. So I don't mean to rant too much on that, but I do just want you to see, like, if you're stressed about money, for example, look at the things that you already have in your life that you've purchased with money. Like, oh, look, I already have this couch. I already have this sweater that I'm wearing. I already have these shoes. Like, I already have been taken care of. I already have eggs in my fridge, believe it or not, right? I already have the things that I need today. I have enough. And I want to feel that feeling even more. My body, maybe I want to improve my body, but I already have a strong body. Even if I'm ill, I know that I have strength in me because I'm living, I'm breathing. If I have a bad relationship with my husband, I also have a relationship with my husband, and there are moments that are good. So let's look at those good moments. As a parent, you're like, my kids never listen to me. Well, do they? Never? Or do they sometimes? So we want to make our actions be coming from a place of already having had our needs met, if that makes sense. I'm depressed. True. But are you always depressed? When is that glimmer of joy? When is that spark? When does it come up? Anchor to that, like, oh, a lot of times I feel down, but not when I do this one thing. Oh, okay. I need to bring more of that one thing into my life. So we have to look at areas where things are going well in the area where things don't feel good, because that will give us wisdom to find out what's the next right thing. Everything we're doing here is we're chasing. When we chase something new, like more purpose in our life, right? Maybe, or more tidiness in our house, or more health and wellness, or more friendships, or a better relationship with our kids, or more joy and less anxiety, more trust and less anxiety. Whatever we're chasing, we have to remember that the foundational beliefs that are required for aligned radical action are I'm good enough, I'm lovable, and I'm worthy. Like I'm already enough. I already have enough. When you practice that belief system, you're going to get so much more new, wonderful things, but it won't be coming from a place of graspiness and insecurity. trying to fill a void in your life. So let me tell you what I think of as the 3 types of action, right? So we have radical aligned action. That's what we're working towards. But there's 2 kinds of actions I want you to be aware of. The first is inaction. If you feel stuck or trapped or paralyzed in any way, you may not take action towards the next right thing. You want to see yourself as being in a space of inaction. Just using the word inaction will help you. So looking at your procrastination is a clue that maybe you feel afraid, maybe you feel overwhelmed, maybe you feel confused, maybe you need to get some help, maybe you need to work on gratitude, work on seeing where things are going right, and that will give you some hope that you can take action. Inaction is when we're not doing anything because we're feeling stuck. And one of the tools to get out of inaction, honestly, is gratitude. It's not like gratitude in a bad way. It's not like, oh, I shouldn't complain because I have it so good. That's disingenuous. I want you to be rather thinking like, how can I convince myself that things are pretty great? You will then take action from that place. The second type of action is reactive action, which we've talked a lot about during the series, is this buffering action or this people-pleasing, perfectionism, overdoing it, overthinking, over-organizing, over-planning, avoidance behaviors like reactive. Like for me, I go into fix it, change it, stop it, solve it when I'm not in aligned action, when I'm in a place of scarcity, fear, guilt, anger, defensiveness, insecurity. When I'm feeling those things and I take action, I've seen this a lot as I build this podcast, as I build my coaching practice, my business. When I am graspy and I take big swings, it doesn't really work out as well as when I'm just in peace and joy and chasing what's fun and what's interesting. That's same with my family. Like if I'm like, we need to have dinner 5 nights a week and we need to do we need to do game night. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago where I feel like, oh, I need to make it really good for my family. Oh, I did this on a Confessions on the Thanksgiving fight episode where I talked about I need to make my family really fun for my kids so that they always want to come home for holidays. And if it's not good enough, they won't want to come home. And I was in a graspy, weird energy. Well, who wants to come home to that? That's not fun. But if I'm in a fun, hey, this is a party, the party exists, you're welcome to come at any time. My life is great and I want to include you in it. That's so much more of an attractive energy. So when I'm reactive and, I'm over producing, over planning, overthinking, that is my reactive action. I might take big steps. I might do some big things that look really good, but I'm not taking that action from a place of wholeness, from integrity. That's what we're looking to do. So let's talk about aligned action. So aligned action comes from a place of true love for yourself and deep acceptance of yourself and others. So if I want to take a big action in my parenting, right? This is a parenting podcast, believe it or not. We've been talking about other things lately, but when I want to take a big action in my relationship with my kids or the way I parent, going back to that principle that my kids' behavior is driven by their unmet emotional needs or their feelings or their desire to communicate or cope with an uncomfortable feeling. That perspective is I'm accepting my child's behavior. I'm going to take radical action. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to do really good connection. I'm going to do some good emotional coaching. I'm going to, follow through with consequences. The actions are going to be there, but they are driven from within me, from a place of true peace. My kids are good. They're fine. We just need to fine tune this, to tweak this a bit. This is what happens in my consults. Parents are they think they're going to come and present this terrible worst case scenario to me. And I listen and I'm oh, there's so much good here. There's so much to work with. You're not that far off. You just need a couple new parenting skills, a couple new mindset strategies. You're going to be golden. The radical action is oftentimes not so big, especially if we're no, things are good. I just want to see where we can make things better. I love approaching problems from things are good, let's make it better. So aligned radical action is these actions that come from our authentic core self. So what I've noticed in my life is that I have had this desire to heal the next generation in advance, right? To talk about parenting and helping parents understand how kids work, how their brain works, how this relationship works since 2012. So a long time. And when I have been off my path of pursuing this dream and this meaningful work, when I get distracted from my vision, I know I keep being drawn back to the thing that I'm supposed to be doing because it's not in my alignment. It's not in my mission. It's not in what I was here, what I'm put here on the earth to do. And so you are also put on the earth to do something. I don't know what it is. It might be raising a beautiful family and establishing a great home life for your kids. It might be writing a novel or creating, beautiful artwork. I have this friend who hosts such beautiful, tender events, and they're always just well designed and, really, really amazing experiences. And she was like put here on the earth to do those things. And I get to be blessed by her vision and her soul work. I get to be blessed by that, just like you get to be blessed by my soul work. So you have something that you're designed to do. You're here for a purpose. I believe it deeply. And when you're in alignment with that purpose, the aligned radical action actually feels really easy. It's like you're in your flow. That's one of the ways that you know that the actions that you're taking are the right actions, is because it feels easy and fun and brings you joy and keeps filling up your bucket. Even if it's hard, even if it's stressful, even if it's scary, it's like there's a deeper yeah, I'm supposed to do this. So just try to find it. How do you do that? How do you figure out what your aligned radical action is? The first thing I think about is the what. What do you want? I remember the first time I watched a parent educator present some information at an event. And I thought, oh, I want to do that. And I also thought arrogantly, I could do this better, which is very funny. But I thought that everybody was thinking that they could do it better and that they wanted to do that. I don't know. I just was like, whatever desire I had, I figured, oh, this is just what everyone's thinking, which makes no sense because most people don't want to be parent educators. But it's the thing in me was ooh, I want to do that. That's for me. I talked about this in the Calm Mama Confessions when I talked about getting sober, how my former roommate was on a trip to Yosemite and my little heart went, I want to go to Yosemite. And then I did. Figure out what it is that you want. What is it? What makes you feel alive? What makes you excited? What are you jealous of? I think envy and jealousy are so fascinating because if you see something in someone else's life that you're jealous of, can you create that for yourself? I remember saying to Tiffany, I just want to be one of these people who goes stand-up paddleboarding and does yoga and hikes. And then she said, well, you can do that. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, if that's who you want to be, you get to be that person. And what is ironic is while we were talking about that, I was carrying my stand-up paddleboard back to my car from the beach. In many ways, I already was the person I wanted to be, but I just didn't think that was available to me or possible. It's so silly to think about oh, I want to be like that person. It feels petty, but rather than judging it, radical honesty, radical listing, radical acceptance. If you want that, go get it. Create it, prioritize it, commit to it, make it possible. And maybe you'll do it for a while and you'll be like, oh, that's not what I really wanted. That's fine too. We can stop and start and move around and figure out what we are. So there's this concept called glimmers, and it's the opposite of triggers. Triggers are these events that happen in our life that make our nervous system fire up. A glimmer is when it's something that happens that makes you light up, get excited. So instead of fight, flight, freeze, faint, fawn, you get peace, joy, love, contentment, gladness, excitement, whatever those positive dopamine kind of good feelings are, oxytocin and serotonin and yumminess. If you notice that you love something, that's your what? Keep chasing the thing you love. Keep chasing those experiences. Bring more and more into your life, and it will become more and more clear what it is that you need to be doing. That's the same for what do you want, and then why do you want it? For me, my personal practice is all about chasing feelings, chasing the thing that I want to feel. So I'm always like, I want to feel more joy. I want to feel more excitement. I want to feel more peace. I want to feel more rest. I want to feel more fun. Like some people challenge me. They're like, fun's not a feeling. I don't know. Let's not get into the weeds. What is it you're chasing? Because it's not the actions necessarily that will get you those things. It's deciding like, oh, what am I looking for? What's the feeling in my body that I want to be feeling? What's the feeling in my head? Like, what are the thoughts I want to have? What are the things that bring me those? So chasing the whats and chasing the whys and chasing the feelings, that will help you take that radical action. So how do you know what the next right thing is? I want to teach you a strategy called the 5 whys. So you start, and you might need to like write these down. Like it's actually not that complicated. You don't need to write it down, but just thinking about yourself, you will have to write the answers of your own prompt down in order to figure this out. So you start with, what do you want? So I decided to do a model of this with the stop yelling at your kids, right? Because that's like a big part of my program, is to help people not yell at their children anymore and to feel better about parenting, feel more calm, feel more connected, all of those things. So what do you want? Stop yelling at my kids. What do you want? To have a job that brings me joy. What do you want? A body that is physically fit. What do you want? A home that is, tidy and clean. What do you want? A marriage that is based on mutual respect. What do you want? Like whatever the thing that what it is that you want. What do you want? I want to know how to manage my money. I want to feel less depressed, more joyful. Start with what you want. Then you ask yourself, why don't you have that thing? I want to stop yelling at my kids. Well, why do you yell at your kids? Or why don't you stop yelling at them? So you want to ask yourself, why do you do that? Like, why don't you have it? I want a tidy house. Why don't you have a tidy house? Then you answer the questions and you keep asking yourself, well, why is that true? Why is that true? So for example, I want to stop yelling at my kids. Great. Why do you yell at your kids? They don't listen to me. Why don't they listen to you? Because I'm not consistent. Why aren't you consistent? Because I feel guilty or overwhelmed, so I give in. Why are you feeling guilty or overwhelmed? I have too much going on in my life. Why do you have so much going on in your life? I don't say no. I don't set boundaries. I don't have enough support. When you get to that bottom 5 of the 5 whys, then you get to say, oh, I see some of the actions I need to take. I need to say no. I need to set boundaries, and I need to get some more support. So then the next right thing is saying no to something. The next right thing is setting a boundary. The next right thing is getting support. So if you want to stop yelling at your kids, I don't know why you're not in the Calm Mama Club yet, because that's what we are learning to do. And it's $30 a month, and you can join at any time, quit any time. Just come for 1 month, come for 4 sessions. We meet on Tuesdays at 9:30 Pacific, right? Just show up, get coached, get support, talk to me, and we will work it out, right? I'll help you how to say no. I'll help you how to set boundaries, and you'll have support. So we look at the areas in our life and we say, okay, what is it that I want? Why don't I have that? Why? When you get to that bottom why, the answer will be there of what you need to do. If you don't know how to do this, just reach out and ask me, and we can talk about it on a consultation or in the club. Now, I wanted to go through some of the obstacles or the enemies of radical action. The first one is perfectionism. And I want to say that perfectionism is a way to protect yourself from receiving negative feedback. It's a way for like keeping you small and keeping you stuck and keeping you trapped. And it signals to me a lack of self-trust and a lack of acceptance of yourself or your circumstances. So what I want you to work towards is half-ass is better than no-ass. Okay, I want you to be a half-ass person. If you're a perfectionist, aim for a C+. Like, just get it done. Just put the incomplete, in your mind, incomplete thing out there. So you don't have to start organizing your house until you're ready to, buy a bunch of stuff from the Container Store or Target or wherever. You don't have to wait to just do one cupboard, right? Just fold your towels and maybe that will make you go, oh, okay, right? Buy one new pillow or get a new pillow from the Goodwill or whatever and put it on your couch and just notice like, oh, every day I want to fold the blankets that are on the couch and put them in a basket. Find a basket in your house. Find a bin. Use a plastic bag. I don't need you to spend money. You can just do the thing, right? Don't make it perfect. Another enemy of radical action is people pleasing. So what I noticed, I've been thinking about people pleasing a lot less lately, and it really is it's a form of manipulation, right? You're manipulating other people's thoughts about you so that you can feel better. People pleasing is really about controlling other people's narrative of you, that their thoughts about you are, she's good, she's nice, she's kind, she's so helpful. Maybe you are kind and helpful and good, and that's great. But if you are needing the other person or the organization or the group to see you doing those things and you're leaving your aligned radical action, you're not staying committed to your joy, your time commitments, your priorities in order to go over here and make other people happy, including your children. It may be because you are in a place of insecurity. So people pleasing often leads to reactive action. That fix it, change it, stop it, solve it, that overdoing, that overworking, that trying so hard because you're trying to fill a gap. You may need to do the same amount of effort, but I want it not to come from the perspective of needing anything from that other person. People pleasing is that form of manipulation of that person's thoughts about you. It's very interesting. We can talk more about it another time. Other areas that are enemies of radical action are this fear of failure. Like if you don't believe that you can handle being disappointed, being embarrassed, being hurt, being misunderstood, if you fear that you will crumble, right, then you may not take big action. You may not try as hard as you want because you're afraid of the feelings. So radical self-trust is this idea that you can trust yourself, that you can handle everything. Radical acceptance is that I can also handle every feeling that comes because I know it's temporary, it'll pass. I know how to soothe myself. So the more you practice the hierarchy of healing, the easier it is for you to handle failure. I have areas in my life that I haven't taken big swings, and I know it's because I'm afraid that I won't be able to handle the pain. But then I have so much evidence of all this pain that I've handled in the past. And so it's really silly that I won't take the action. So it's not something you need to judge yourself about. It's just something to be aware of and then soothe that feeling of fear. The other two things are a little more practical, these enemies of radical action. One is overwhelm. You're just not sure where to start. So hopefully this episode helped, but start small, do the next thing. I've been using, or not so much for me, but telling clients to use ChatGPT to figure out how does somebody get a new job or whatever? How does someone organize their toy bins? Ask ChatGPT. Maybe that will give you one idea of what to do to break it down into steps. You can hire a coach who's done whatever you want. So if somebody has managed their money, I had a budget coach, she helped me a lot. I've had a business coach. I've had personal trainers. I've had a lot of different support in my life, and I look around and I'm like, who's done what I want? And then I go hire that person. And that's a huge hack, right? Because they can kind of give you the steps. steps, and then you have accountability to put those steps together. If you don't want to hire someone, you can read a book. You can join a group of people doing what you want, like a Facebook group or an in-person group. The thing I want you to know is that if you want to improve an area of your life, your internal wisdom, your core self already knows how to get that. So you can trust that you will make progress, that there's wisdom inside of you, and that you just keep moving forward. So the overwhelm can be soothed by saying, probably do know what to do. Let me just do it. The last one is time management. I've noticed that people think that they don't have time to achieve their goals. And really, there's always time if we prioritize. Now, that means maybe dropping something, like not doing something that you've committed to and saying, I have to back out of this volunteer position, or I have to not take on that project at work, or I have to decide that I'm no longer washing the dishes in my kitchen until 6 p.m., which is one of the things I did. Very small step of like, I'm not going to clean the kitchen all day anymore because it's a distraction from my priorities. So whatever you want is possible, but it will maybe require you to do something less. I notice that a lot of people, if they want to do something like play the guitar or learn to play the guitar or something, you kind of fit in that hobby or that interest or the thing that brings you joy whenever it seems convenient to, and like whenever there's an empty space. But is there really ever an empty space in your calendar? Like, no, you fill it. You fill all the empty spaces. So I'd love to see you fill the empty spaces with yourself, making commitments to yourself, putting things on your calendar and treating those appointments with yourself with as much respect as you treat the time that school starts or the meeting you have at the doctor's appointment. Like being as respectful to yourself as you would to somebody else you've made a commitment to. Committing to your own calendar. Eliminating distractions is huge. Putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. Turning off the Wi-Fi on your computer while you try to do work. Leave your phone in another room. Hire a babysitter. Lock your door. So there are ways to create time for yourself and to create what you want. It's a matter of prioritizing and staying committed. Now, if you commit to something or like you think you're committed and then you keep noticing that you don't making time for it, go back to your calendar, make an appointment. I decided that for the hiking season, because I live in a hot place that we can't really hike in the summer, but from October to June, I can hike. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to hike every Sunday morning. Just made a commitment, put that on my calendar, and that's what I do. If I'm traveling or ill or whatever, it's no problem. I can make adjustments. And I'm still committed to it the following week. It's just like a standing appointment I have with myself. Sometimes I invite people. Sometimes I go alone. Sometimes I go with Kevin. It's all good. It's what I'm doing. That's my commitment to myself. So you get to prioritize your goals. You get to prioritize your joy. You get to prioritize the things that you care about. The last thing I want to say is all you have to do is start and trust. So with radical action, you don't have to figure out all the parts, all the pieces, all of the things. Just do the next thing that feels aligned and your intuition's kind of like, yeah, say no to that. Do this instead. Or, ooh, that lit you up. Say yes. And then just see where you end up. It's a journey. It's fun. Life can be really interesting. Radical action does not need to be stressful. It can bring you lots and lots of joy. And I'm serious about reaching out to me if you want to talk about any of the things I talked about in the How to Heal series. Or if you're like, what is this club thing? Like, what is she talking about? Book a consultation. Let's talk about it. And you can join. Or you can go to the website and join now, calmmamacoaching.com. Click on programs, join the group, and let's move forward. I'd love to support you on your journey to become a calm mama. All right, I will talk to you next week. Have a great week. Hey mama, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to do two things. The first is go to my website, calmmamacoaching.com, and get a copy of the Stop Yelling cheat sheet. You'll get a step-by-step breakdown of the most important tool I teach, which is the pause break. And you'll also get 40 ideas to reset your body and balance your nervous system so you don't have to yell at your kids. You can get a copy of that again at my website, calmmamacoaching.com/stop yelling. The other thing I'd love for you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast so that other moms can discover empowering and helpful, practical parenting strategies just like you did today. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. It means a lot to be in your ear every week and to support you on your parenting journey.